Ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to be talking to you guys about my most anticipated game of 2023, Jedi Survivor. We played through it all on the channel. Go and check it out at the last possible moment while you can, because as of tomorrow, the 28th of April, we can play Jedi Survivor. This game has got a whopping download, so do try and pre-install it early. You can do it through the remote features ability on your Xbox app. Connect that to your Xbox, go into your Xbox settings and turn on remote features, and you can install the 130 something gigabytes that it is already before installing the game disc if you're buying it on disc as well. It'll just speed up your installation process, and it means that you should be able to play it a lot quicker. So basically, this is gameplay footage of some of the cinematics and some of the actual gameplay itself, mainly the combat and the looting and the customization options. But this game is my most anticipated game. I loved the first one. I was originally gifted it as a present from my girlfriend. Played through it all twice over. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the new game plus as well for the first game. And this one really interests me. I'm seeing a lot of elements, funny enough, from the game Ghost of Tsushima, which is a PlayStation exclusive. I say that mainly based on the stances. So Cal has got these sort of Jedi stances. This time round, he's now a Jedi Knight. You know, he's evolving on the Padawan journey. He went from a Padawan to a Knight in the end of the first game. So he is now a lot older, a lot wiser, and a lot stronger. He has an amazing new skill set when it comes to choosing these stances. Apparently, there's quite a lot to pick at the start of the game and a few to pick up as you progress. He has got his standard solo blade lightsaber stance. He has a double-ended lightsaber stance, and he has two dual-wield single-bladed lightsabers as his third stance, which is awesome. 3 lightsaber stances from the very beginning to choose from is a really cool idea and a really nice touch. On top of that, later down the line, you can get the cross-hilt lightsaber blade stance, which is reminiscent of Kylo Ren's from the most recent Star Wars movies. And opinions of those movies aside, Cal's lightsaber is great for customizing, and in the recent 3 new Star Wars movies with Rey and Kylo Ren, Kylo has a fantastic looking lightsaber with a little cross hilt guard thing going on, with 2 little lightsaber blades either side of a massive single blade. So with this cross hilt stance, cross guard stance, whatever you want to call it, he will be able to have longer range. It will be a lot more slower moving, but obviously it compensates the range. He's also got a better ability with it, as power wise it's quite obviously a more heavier blade. I'd say something more along the lines of like a medieval claymore or a 2-handed greatsword. It is a big boy blade and a big weapon to wield, so that comes later. It'll probably be to do with the story at some point. I'm sure we'll find it along a quest line like we did with the double-bladed lightsaber in the first game. So that's going to come into it. Also a feature that comes into it, and we have seen that through the promotion in the pre-order teasers of what we can get, is a blaster. In this game, Cal's going to have an ability to run a blaster in one hand and a lightsaber in the other, which is a really nice feature. Something that we saw in the Kenobi TV show. Obi-Wan was using a blaster and a lightsaber. We haven't seen it much in Star Wars content as of recent. It's definitely been a part of the Star Wars lore, but I'm excited to do that in a game and actually get to play around with that feature of running and gunning as well as hacking and slicing all at the same time, keeping it nice and fluid. EA has done a fantastic job with this game, bringing back features that we loved from the first one and adding so much more into it. Yes, there are going to be probably a little bit of bugs here and there and a little bit of graphical errors as the first patch comes out. I'm sure it'll get polished as we go. I noticed that in the first game as well. So let's give it a bit of credit where it's due. But I'm also going to be reasonable. I'm not getting paid by EA to play this early or anything. I'm not getting paid or sponsored to do this content. I'm doing it as a Star Wars fan at heart. So I will be fair and I will be critical. And I will be, unbiased in my review. But I cannot wait to play this game. 2023 has been a slow burner of games so far. And on top of that, I'm really looking forward to get a bit of more Star Wars content in my life. Return of the Jedi is celebrating a 40th anniversary in movie theatres at the moment, and I'm really excited that this game has come out with May the 4th just right round that corner. So, as a Star Wars nerd, very excited. Going to Galaxy's Edge and picking up Cal's lightsaber as well, by the way, that was voted out of a lot of lightsabers that Disney could have mass-produced for the Galaxy's Edge attraction. They did vote, and Cal Kestis' lightsaber from the original game won the vote. So, let's be fair, there must have been something right with the first game. One, to create the sequel, and two, to have so many people influence a voting poll, to get Cal's lightsaber made in reality by Disney, no less. So, there's been a lot done right so far with this brand and this actor and this studio and its storyline, and I am excited for a sequel. I think the first game was phenomenal, and I won't spoil it, but when that certain somebody appeared in the game, I lost my mind as a Star Wars nerd, and they did him justice as well, so I was really happy with that. Now, I don't want to spoil anything. Obviously, this gameplay has been cut out of sequence, so I don't want to spoil anything too much. But basically, what I wanted to just say, along the lines to the first game, if you've played it and you see that certain somebody show up towards the end of the game and give us a bit of a shocking surprise, it was very cool seeing him in the game, and it was very interesting to see the dynamic between him and his power level versus Cal and his power level. So it was a cool dynamic to see, and they have recreated that with a different character this time around, and I'm not going to spoil it here because I want to see people react to it genuinely for the very first time. Unfortunately, I did get it spoiled for me. It's not going to stop me from enjoying the game, however, it's going to keep my excitement until he or she or they or them eventually appear in the game. But yeah, they have got another big important character cameo in the game in a cool, interesting way like they did with the first one. And apparently, speaking of characters, we have a new companion in this game. Not only do we get a fully customizable Cal Kestis with his hair, his beard, his clothes and his lightsaber, we're also going to get a customizable BD1 with a lot more customization. In the first game, absolutely fine by me, but in the first game, there was a bunch of different ponchos, and yes, a poncho does feature in the game. You have to go and find it. It's part of a side quest. The devs were talking about that in a behind the scenes video. So yes, you can go and kill a certain boss on a planet, and you can pick up a poncho for Cal Kestis. For those of you who want to be nostalgic and reminisce about the OG poncho in the first game, or the many ponchos in the first game. Customization was limited, understandably so. But it's nice to see that we're going to get some new hairstyles, some new clothing items, a range of clothing items, and also to be able to dress him up however we want to suit our playstyle, customize the lightsaber however we want to suit our playstyle, as well as change those stances like we mentioned before. Not to mention the fact that BD1 is fully customizable this time round, and not just a new coat of paint every now and then when we find one. He's going to be fully customizable with his fake place, is like plating on his face, on his body, things like that. His color scheme also, the basic stuff from the first game, as well as a bunch of new stuff. So I'm very excited about this game, and I'm very hyped to play it in 24 hours time and stream it for you guys. I'm going to be playing it through a lot, so I'm going to be streaming it. I've got a big trip planned for May the 4th, and a massive video coming out on May the 4th. So I will be streaming this and making YouTube shorts and videos such as how-tos and tutorial guides as and when we go through the game and we play it. So I'll be playing it live on the channel. So subscribe and tune in for the live streams of these episodes. Then I'm also going to be breaking those live streams down into smaller episodes. And I'm also going to be doing, like I say, normal videos, normal YouTube shorts as well. So lots of Jedi Fallen Order content, lots of Jedi Survivor content. You guys are going to have a lot on your plate, so I hope you do enjoy. And like I say, don't ruin it for people, don't spoil it for people. You know, some people complete it really quickly, some people like to take their time, so please no spoilers. Please be cautious and careful. Don't look online for things, and don't get too caught up with going down the rabbit hole on, say, Twitter or Reddit, because sometimes you will encounter some certain spoilers as you go. That's how I got one of the spoilers kind of ruined to me early. But like I say, I hopefully don't want to do that to anybody here. So, like I say, all these clips are cut out of context, so you won't really see them in this way. It's just to display the gameplay and the cutscenes. The cutscenes and the gameplay do look a lot smoother, look a lot more cinematic, feel a lot sharper, and the combat genuinely does feel really, really cool. With more generic enemies, I mean, not generic as in like boring, but like I mean like the more repetitive enemies that appear, sort of like the stormtroopers, the droids, things like that. They're dismemberable now, if that's the word, dismemberable. I don't know how you would say it. The way that when you can chop things in half. I don't know. That's a weird word. Dismemberment. I think it's that. Comment down below if I'm getting that right. I think it's dismemberment, but I don't know how you would say that on a larger scale. So yeah, the droids and the stormtroopers can now get their limbs and stuff hacked in half. Obviously, the bigger bosses, they haven't done that. Like, we can't chop her like head off or her legs off when we're hitting her legs and her body. You can see that's just kind of like, a bit of story bait, a little bit of protection, because she's canon, because she's the main character, a main villain or whatever. So that's okay. I don't mind them not being able to cut her to pieces, but lightsabers have not been captured correctly 100% of the time in games, but this one does it quite well. But yeah, the droids and the stormtroopers, you will be able to, chop arms off, heads off, legs off. It's going to be quite cool to see that as a lightsaber, because that was one comment I had in the first game, that Cal's lightsaber, understandably, fair enough, the big major bosses that you have, it would be too easy to just, chop their arms off and legs off and force throw them against the wall. But, to the more generic enemies like the droids and the stormtroopers, I would have liked to have, like her there, she should really be cut in half, but, I would like to have seen that more in the first game, and they didn't do it, where this one they brought that back for the stormtroopers and the droids, so that's quite cool, that's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to see combat like that. The scars do seem to last on them a lot more now, so whether that's a graphical thing with this cutscene, or whether that's going to be a thing that stays consistent, I just wanted to feel more of a weight to a lightsaber. Like, a lightsaber is such a cool weapon, and it has got such power to it, so I wanted to really see the danger of a lightsaber in combat against a multiple amount of different foes, which is really cool. Quick side note, whilst I've got it here in my head, the arachnophobia. So in the first game, Cal went to a lot of the jungles, he went to Kashyyyk, he went to a lot of like swamp areas, and there were these massive alien spiders that he had to encounter. And in this game, there's an arachnophobia mode. In the last game, there wasn't. So at least that's quite okay. That's a nice feature for those of you who are a fan of Star Wars, who have got arachnophobia. You don't want to be jump scared randomly. So you can go into the settings before you start your gameplay. You can turn your subtitles on and off. You can change your audio and all that stuff, and make it more accessible to your playstyle, as well as turning on that arachnophobia mode if you do fear spiders. So do that if you want. I don't think it's going to ruin the game in any way. Like they said, there's no major boss fight that involves a spider or whatever. But just in case you don't want to run into them in the gameplay, you've got the option. Here's a little quick thing on the screen here for the dual wield and the double-ended lightsaber. You can change it at a moment's notice. So 1 minute Cal's playing around with 2 lightsabers. Now he wants one big long lightsaber with 2 ends, or he wants the blaster and the lightsaber, or the crossguard hilt. You've got the ability to turn that on and off as you please, as you've unlocked them. So basically, a lot more choice in your combat, which is never a bad thing. And like I say, this game does have a lot of boots to fill, a lot of ponchos to fill from that first game, because I really did enjoy it, and I couldn't really nitpick it too much. As a Star Wars game went, it was quite interesting. Now, one thing I did like about the first game, there was an addition of adding bounty hunters. So once Cal's reputation had built up a little bit throughout the galaxy, he was hunted by bounty hunters, and there was like 1 or 2 bounty hunters that showed up in the first game. I think there might have been 4 in total. Might be wrong on that, maybe 4 or 5. But in this one, apparently they've made like a sort of mini Mandalorian game within this game, where there's going to be a few bounty hunters coming after Cal. He's got a bit of a name now. Like, look at that. That was so cool, the dismemberment thing we were talking about before. And this cool skill tree between the Force and your lightsaber and your skill levels and things like that. So it's a nice digestible way to add on your customizations and to, change your gameplay up however you like. That way as well, you won't see a lot of repetitive gameplay all the time. Some people might do it with double-ended lightsabers, some people might do it with the dual wield. Everyone will have their own play style and their own Cal, with the different hairs and beards and clothes, like I said before. I pre-ordered the copy of the game, so I will have the Obi-Wan outfit, the Obi-Wan hair and beard. So I will essentially be playing like a little Obi-Wan simulator. I know it'll be Cal Kestis and his name and his voice and everything, and a great actor that he is. But I'll be able to kind of roleplay as Obi-Wan a little bit, which is kind of nice, it suits, it's kind of fun. That's my type of Star Wars, was Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. That was my style of Star Wars growing up, so I'll be looking forward to play as Obi-Wan, my own version of Obi-Wan, and having Cal do a bit of cosplay as Obi-Wan for me for the streams and the videos, so that'd be quite cool. But I like this skill tree. Like I said, it's very digestible. My girlfriend's recently gotten into gaming. I say recently, it's about 3-4 years now. She's been getting into gaming a bit more, and she hates big, complicated skill trees. And I don't blame her. If you're a gamer who's just, got a Saturday, Sunday to chill on the couch after work, you know, at the end of your busy week and you just kind of want to chill out and play some games. You want a skill tree that's quick and easy to learn. And I think Star Wars Jedi Survivor does have that. It has a very easy to digest skill tree. It's got something that's got, you know, a nice layout. It's very easy to read and very reasonable to get your head around. Also here we see Cal and his teammate. So we've acquired this companion throughout playing the single player, and now Cal can command him running around the game. He can command him on certain levels where he accompanies us. So that's kind of cool. Again, adding a new level to the simple but really fun dynamic of the first game. That's exactly what a sequel should do. Some sequels kind of overdose on the idea of we have to be bigger and better than what we were before. Not necessarily, you know, not necessarily. You can take what made that first game so great and brilliant and just simply add little sprinkles of extra on top of it. You don't have to go all out. You don't have to go crazy with it. Like, it's nice to see a game that knows its boundaries and can be reasonable with what it adds in, like this little co-op mode of, like, obviously it's not another person playing online. Some people would have liked that, but I understand it's a story player game, so I guess it's not multiplayer co-op. But the fact that this guy just can help you out as like a little NPC is really helpful. I mean, I played that on The Forest, Sons of the Forest. I had a Virginia and Kelvin, who were great little NPC additions, and they made that single-player game kind of feel like a mini multiplayer. You know, it made it feel more alive, and it's great when you've got AI that can help you out like that. And you care about them. Also, going down that route, we're going to talk about the fact that there is actually a romance option for Cal in this game. Now, we know that he had a little bit of a feisty connection with the, I can't remember her name now, but she was brilliant. The witch from the planet where Darth Maul and Savage come from in the Clone Wars. God, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But they're like the green-eyed magic witches, and they can bring the dead back to life and things like that. And, you know, a Night Sister, I think they're called Night Sisters. And Cal actually meets one of the Night Sisters in the first game, and she befriends Cal, and her and him work together towards the end of the first game, and she stays with them and joins the crew. And we currently don't have any gameplay of her right now, but we do see her in a flashback a little bit later on. But her and him had this sort of flirty banter with each other. A little bit of chemistry was building in that first game. Not enough time to flesh it out, because like I say, we meet her towards the end of the game. But she is a romance option for Cal in this game. Apparently the romance option has come into this game, so that's going to be interesting. Whether a player wants to really lean into it, immerse themselves in that, or they just kind of, you know, I'm a Jedi, I am one with the Force, and the Force is one with me, and I do not have time for thy thoughts at the moment. But I'm sure we'll have different opinions and different people playing it different ways. But that Mantis is beautiful. Side note, I'm a Lego nerd through and through. Lego Star Wars especially. I will put pennies towards anything that's Lego Star Wars. We need a Mantis. We need a UCS Mantis from the Lego company. We need them to make a Mantis Lego set. I can't believe they've not done an official Cal Kestis. We've made a BB-8. There's a huge BB-8 statue and a little BB-8 minifigure. We need a Cal Kestis and a Mantis. We need the whole Mantis crew. We need the original Mantis built looking like that. Look how cool that looks. Imagine that as a big Lego model, man. That looks sick. That looks so cool. I mean, I'd be so excited to have one of those. So that's my little side rant over. The Lego company, you know what you need to do. You need to make that ship in Lego. That thing would look boss. I'd love to have one of them. But like I say, Cal is now... I got sidetracked then for a second. I'm really passionate about that. But Cal Kestis is, like I say, a lot older in this game. He's more mature. He's become more of a Jedi Knight, Jedi Master almost in this style of gameplay. He went from being this young, naive Padawan who got taken under the wing of an old, vengeful Jedi who lost her Padawan. And now we see him back better than ever, a few more years under his belt, a bit more experience to his name. And now he's ready to kick some ass and do some shit. Like, he's ready to take on the galaxy. And he's doing it in style. And like I say, this game, watching the gameplay back and just examining it shot for shot, these cutscenes feel like I'm watching a Disney show. And, like, the Star Wars projects, like Mandalorian level episodes. And, like, possibly, I think this would make a great live action series. The actor is already phenomenal who plays Cal. I'm sure you can get the other voice actors in to play their roles as well. And I think it would make a great show, because Cal's story is one really impressive one. Like, we kind of see him as a young Padawan at the very beginning of Order 66, which is such a heroic moment, you know, a big, massive historical moment in the Star Wars universe. So, to see Cal as like a younger boy in Order 66, to then see him being a man now in this day and age, I think that would be a great live-action thing to pursue, and I think the game's doing that greatly. to give this story and this lore and this world just a bit more edge to it, something that we can really be excited about, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really, really think it's going to be boss, and I think it's going to be an interesting game nonetheless. I think it's going to be an interesting one, and I think it's going to be possibly my favorite game of the year. I've seen not a lot of games drop this year that has taken my interest as much as this one, and as long as it does the first one justice and it keeps the ball rolling, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. And I'm hoping that they do it justice, because like I say, I think we're going to see that cutscene now. And this is such a good first game, and it's rare that you get the first game and you fall in love with it and the sequel does it justice, because The Last of Us Part 2, don't get me started on that. I was destroyed by what they did with that game. It felt like it had so much potential and it fell flat on its ass. But this one feels like it's more going in the right direction. They're doing a good idea. We're seeing Cal as a young boy becoming a teenager, young Jedi Padawan, to then being this master. And this, I don't think he's a master yet. I think he's a knight at the moment. But you see him evolve as a character and these people around him. And it was so cool, because the whole first game, without spoiling it too much, essentially you find a holocron, which is like a list of young Force-sensitive children. It's on this box, and the Sith want it, like the Empire want it, because if they can find it and kill all these kids, that's the next generation of Jedis all dead, and blah blah blah. It's bad, it's not the good stuff, it's the bad stuff. They want to get rid of all these Force-sensitive children. And Cal finds this device that houses all of those Force-sensitive children's names in it. And in the end, he decides to, spoiler alert, he decides to forfeit it by destroying it, by letting the Force do what it wants, and not going after these kids and recruiting them so the Empire can hunt them. Instead, he puts a big target on his own back, and instead destroys this list so no one can find it again. And I think that was really powerful. The whole game you're going after this holocron. Find the holocron, go here, do this, and get to the holocron and read the list. And in the end, Cal decides to destroy it, because he knows that it's going to put those kids in danger. He knows what it could do to those people and their lives and their families, and he doesn't want that to happen to other people. So he gets rid of it, he destroys it. And instead he stays here with Grease and his master, his teacher, his new teacher, and his possible lady friend, and BD1, and they explore the galaxy together on the Mantis. And then obviously, as the years have gone by, I think Grease is now running a bar somewhere. I think the other lady's in charge of the Jedi Temple. I don't know where the Night Sister is at the moment. Not the Night Sister, the witch lady. And it's really, really interesting. It's really, really interesting. And I think it's got a lot of lore potential, actually. Like, not just a generic hack and slash, go here, shoot them, kill them, go here, fly here, shoot those people, get on the plane again, go over there. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be a lot more, like, living and breathing. I feel like you're just going to be part of, like, this movie experience more than it's just going to be, like, a quick level platformer, solve this puzzle, go here, kill that boss, come back again. It's going to be a lot more immersive, I think, this time round. And that's what I think it should play on. Because that first game, I was almost getting into it. Like, really getting into role-playing and being in this perspective of being this Force-sensitive individual with a big weight on your shoulders. And you've got this this world-ending threat of the Empire coming back. And you're trying to understand what's right and what's the best thing to do for you and your family. Essentially, your crew is your family. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how narratively this goes. Could this be the second and final installment of Cal's story? Could something absolutely catastrophic happen to Cal at the end of the game, do an Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2 type thing? I really hope not, but there's room for possibility, because we don't know. With Luke Skywalker, whenever he turns up in something, judging from his age, we know what's going to happen with Luke, because we've seen him from the baby, and we've seen him as the old man who sacrifices himself. We've seen Luke's entire journey, Rey's entire journey up to now, and we've seen, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, all these people. We've not seen what happens with Cal. We don't know if there's old man Cal somewhere rocking around in the Star Wars canon anywhere. But look at the customization of this lightsaber, man. The first game did it so well, and this one does it even better. Look how beautiful these pieces look. They look like real pieces of physical metal that you could reach out and touch. These things don't feel like you're customizing a weapon in Call of Duty, sticking a camo on it or a paint job on it. It feels like you're really doing something. And the same with BD1 here. It really does feel like the little animation of him going backwards when he gets his new legs is really cute and funny. I do love BD1. It shows you the power of this character, that fact that he doesn't even speak words. He just whistles and beeps and boops, and you just cry for him whenever he's in pain or whenever something's going to happen to him, whenever there's something that makes you feel uneasy. BD1 is the first person I always stress to. And I didn't realise it until my second playthrough. If you tapped down on the D-pad at different moments in the game, Cal would talk to BD1, and BD1 would kind of whistle and beat back, and Cal would reply. So you could have more of a connection to this guy. Not just the fact that he was just there to help you solve puzzles or scan things or crack into stuff. He was like a real little person in your life. And like I say, the immersive side is something that a lot of games need to lean into a hell of a lot more. We've seen the capabilities of the Unreal 5 engine and how real-life looking games can appear. So if stories can mirror those amazing graphics, then I think we've got nothing to worry about for the future of gaming. I think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful introduction to what gaming can be. And this game already, beautiful graphics, beautiful storytelling, cinematic to hell. You know, it looks beautiful. It looks like I'm watching a film. And I will be replaying this a hell of a lot. I'll be taking my time with it and enjoying it. And whether that means I get it all finished in one sitting or not, I'm not sure. But I am really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it as I play through it and stream it and record it and make the content for it, because it's so good as a content creator when you finally get that gig of a game that comes out that really makes you happy, that really gets you excited, and that really gets you motivated to make content. Because as a gaming content creator, things can get so stagnant and boring and repetitive, doing the same thing over and over again. And it's so good when a new game takes your fancy and really gets you motivated. Like, it's currently 10 o'clock at night by the time I'm filming this video commentary. By the time I get it out, it might be, you know, like 11 o'clock midnight. It might be the actual day of release. And I'll be going to bed and waking up in the morning and shooting over to my nearest game store to grab the copy of this game, because that's how excited I am. And I've not had that childhood excitement for a game release happen in such a long time. Such a long time. And honestly, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I don't want to go to sleep tonight because of how excited I am. And I've not felt like that for a very long time. Red Dead Redemption 2 was probably the last time I felt like this. And honestly, EA, Star Wars, fantastic. Can't wait to see this game in action. And honestly, if you've made it to this point in the video, do slap a like, subscribe if you're new, ding dong the notification bell, and get ready to watch more Star Wars Survivor gameplay with me on the channel. Peace out for now. Have a great one. And I hope you enjoy this game in a galaxy far, far away. Peace out.
Switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia. Darling, I'm just so fed up with. What does perfect even mean?